Tell us a little bit about where you are, how you got there.
I'll start from East Bay too. I had the intentions of going into law school. I did everything. I went to law school boot camps. I studied for the LSATs. I got to do internship with the courthouse and be an intern for a judge. I got to do a lot with law, but the more that I started to see that law is more like just letting the client tell you what they need and not really having that dialogue with the clients. Because I was also had my foot in case management for mental health. So I did get a little bit more taste of like the counseling part. I've now been a case manager for 4 years. I work with the highest at-risk youth in San Mateo County. So I'm part of a wraparound team that's a multidisciplinary team that supports and essentially wraps the family with services. And now I am on my way of I'm actually in my master's program from MFT, Marriage Family Therapy. I am amazed how much philosophy is involved with MFT. It's made the concepts very easy to understand. A lot of postmodernism, a lot of just analyzing and critiquing how these different theories come about. And just to put it in practice with my youth is amazing because I'm basically having little philosophy talks with them, really helping them get to the root of their logic of what they're going through, seeing and outweighing and reflecting with them. And I often use Plato's Caves. Usually that just has stuck with me all my life. And I always like to present that story to my youth to help them realize, what they're going through. It's also a lot of the fact that they're first generations, right? So they come from a family that don't know anything about America and what's it like to be an American or a Mexican American or, Filipino American, whatever it may be. So, it was hard to get here to decide that this is what I want to do to work with youth in the mental health field because I was so fixated in the idea of law school that I have to go to law school, that I wanted to go to law school since I was in middle school. However, I want to explore more, this way with working with people one-on-one and getting to walk with them essentially, right? Like figuring out where their ideas come from. And I feel, and what experience I had with the courthouse, it was more so like touch and go with their lives and not really valuing them for the being that they are and the things that they believe in and what they're come to. And with the MFT, I just see it a lot, right? And in my field, because I'm a behavior coach too now, I just switched positions this past year in January. So now I'm a behavior coach. So now I'm a little bit more of like a baby therapist, but I'm focused on the behavioral part. And then again, I just start to reflect the youth and where they're coming from and their ideas. But again, I did not expect myself to be at this field, especially for this length of time. I just fell in love with it. I really do carry like the idea of philosophy with me every day that I don't know anything. And that's the same philosophy I do take with my kids because they're the ones that are experts in their own lives. I don't know anything about them. I don't know where they came from. I don't know what they've dealt with, other providers. So that's what I really do enjoy, like getting philosophy into my life and just carrying it on with me, right? We don't know where life is going to take us. And like I said, I was super fixated in getting into law school. I dedicated like 2 years of my life after post-graduating, just trying to get into law school. But, I didn't have such an amazing experience too with dealing with the, what you call it, like getting with the acceptance committee and whatnot. I just really enjoyed so far my experience with my MFT program with National University. It's online, so I can also work with my kiddos full time and go to school full time. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of factors that come into it also, right? Because law school isn't always cheap. It's a lot of money. And again, I'm also a first gen, so it's just figuring out the way to do what I love while I get to do what I really want to do. But yeah, I don't know if I answered all the questions.
Thanks. Yeah, and as we said, you may never know if law school is in your future anyway, if things will
Exactly.
come together somehow. Yeah, and your cases are extremely complex. I know a bit about what she handles, and it's
I
uncanny. It's
can talk a
incredible.
little bit.
Yeah,
And I think this is where it's really important, right? Because I deal with kiddos, as I mentioned, they're high at risk. So they're either fortunately going through a lot of suicidal ideation, they're in and out of jail.
yeah,
There's just so many things that you wouldn't have thought like an 8-year-old and 9-year-old would be going through that. But just a simple thoughtful, meaningful conversation where you actually get to dialogue with them, where their voice is actually being heard and their ideas is being heard will make such an impact on them. Um, and I just feel like if it wasn't for this field that I'm right now, I wouldn't be practicing actively philosophy if I were to be in law school, right? It's different, very different. My advice is just you're in nobody's schedule, you're in nobody's timeline, you're on your own time. Um, Feel free to explore, right? That is what philosophy is about too. So we can explore what different ideas and what calls our attention. There's no rush. Like Susie always motivates me, right? Like law school may not be here right now, but maybe in the future. And then further that, maybe my PhD, right? So thank you.